Hi, I'm Coach Nate with Velo Kids and Moms in Tow. Today we're here to talk about how to ride a pedal bike or a two-wheeler. These are some helpful tips that we've gathered when teaching our kids how to ride their two-wheelers. The first thing we want to talk about is the location for where to go when first learning how. You want to pick a nice wide open space like we have here where it's easy for your kid to turn around. There's not a lot of traffic or other road furniture for them to worry about. It's easy, simple, and spacious. The second thing is, though it's tempting, we really want to avoid grass and riding in the grass. What you run into is with biking, especially learning, you need to keep your momentum going, and it's a lot harder to create momentum when riding in the grass than when riding on the pavement. The next thing I want to talk about is proper attire for your kids when riding. You want to make sure first and foremost they have a helmet. Their brains are really important, and so we don't want them to fall and hurt their head. We also want to talk about making sure that they have closed-toed tennis shoes on. This is a lot easier way for them to pedal on the bike, and it's a lot safer when they don't have to worry about scraping their toes or getting it caught in anything if they have flip-flops or bare feet. Ideally, coming into a pedal bike, your kid would have just come off of a Strider balance type bike. These types of bike allow them to learn how to balance and turn the bike properly by leaning. Coming off a bike or onto a bike with training wheels is oftentimes harder for the child because there's a lot that they have to unlearn when going to a two-wheeler. Riding a bike with training wheels doesn't allow the child to learn the proper balancing techniques, and they oftentimes have to overcompensate, and it's a little more difficult when going right to a two-wheeler. Looking at the bike itself, when going to a two-wheeler, for a child that is learning how to ride a bike first time, fit is going to be very important. We want to try to avoid large bicycles, bikes that are going to be too big for them, and smaller bicycles. If you don't have a bike that is the proper size, erring on the side of a smaller bike is always a better idea than a larger bike. Ideally, when your child is sitting on the saddle, the balls of their feet are going to be touching the ground. You don't want them to be flat-footed. If they're flat-footed when they're pedaling, their knees are going to come up too high and make it tougher to balance and to pedal the bicycle. So ideally, you want them to be on the balls of their feet. So adjust the seat height accordingly to allow that to happen. Now, getting to how to start to ride on the bike. Can you please hop off a second for me, Ellie? When starting with the bike, it's easiest to put the back wheel of your child's bike between your feet and your calves. This allows you to hold the bike up and allows them to confidently get on. Go ahead and hop on, Ellie. They can hop on the bike while you hold it. Next, you want to put your hands right underneath their armpits. This allows you to steer them, but at the same time allows them to control the bike themselves and really get a feel for the steering, braking, and leaning and balancing of the bike. If you have your hands on the handlebars with them, they don't get a proper feeling for how to ride the bicycle or steer it. If you have your bike or your hand on the seat, again, you're balancing the bike for them and not allowing them to balance. By putting your hands right underneath their armpits and standing behind them, not only do you as the parent not have to lean over as much, but it also allows you to release your hands slightly to let them really feel the balance of the bike. The first thing you want to do when starting is to gently push your momentum, get them started pushing your momentum, walking with them. And you can walk with them, and this allows them to get the feel and the balance of the bike. next thing we're going to go over is stopping and how to properly stop. If your child's bike just has handbrakes, an easy way to get them to get used to riding the bike is to hop off the bike and walk next to their bike holding on to their handbrakes. Walk next to your bike holding on to your handbrakes. Yep, just like this. And then they can actually walk next to their bike and practice putting on the brakes to see what that feels like. You push your brakes and come to a stop. Easy. Hop right on. So next, when they're riding, we're going to be practicing how to use the brakes. The last thing I want to talk about is how to get started. Once your child has mastered pedaling on their own and stopping, oftentimes the next step is getting them started on their own so that you don't have to run with them every time they get going or give them a push to get going. There are two easy ways to do this. The first comes from something they're familiar with, like riding their balance bike. They're going to push their feet forward and walk with the bike to gain enough momentum. So go ahead and start doing that now like you normally would. And then once they get enough speed up, put their feet on the pedals and start pedaling. The second way to get your child ready to start riding their bike is to show them the proper pedal position for rolling. So to start, they want to have their pedal in the 2 o'clock position, right in line with the down tube. That way they can put their foot right on the pedal and push off and start going. As always, we love to shop at our local bike shop, Velocity Cycles. And remember, with your Moms in Tow discount, you'll get 15% off on kids' helmets and 5% off on bikes. Also, don't forget about Velocity's awesome Kid Bike Trade-Up program. It's a great way for your kid to get in a nice new bike shop quality bike for years to come.